back. Allow me to hide my face behind my face here. And we are playing poker again. We are trying to move down a bit in stakes and play a little bit lower stakes, but generally these 3-table tournaments are pretty light spots, so we are registered for a $10 3-table tournament. And then we are also playing a triple up here in the top right, and then I think this is a $1 hyper turbo, and we will just keep cranking the $1 hyper turbos. These are the ones we play like a high velocity of, and so by only playing the $1 hyper turbos tonight, I'm hoping to cap the variance a little bit, especially because we have been doing quite poorly. The last 3-ish sessions, we're down quite a bit. So, just looking to kind of have a bit of a session. Okay, speaking of variance, all these people limp. I think this is a really good spot to just squeeze jam. Generally, these limping ranges are pretty weak, and I'm expecting to get all the chips a good portion of the time, and occasionally someone's just trapping with aces, I guess. Yeah. Okay, that's fine, I guess. That doesn't happen most of the time. Off to a good start though. Here I see. All right. Generally, how that works is everyone just folds and you pick up a bunch of blinds, and if they all fold and I pick up 120 chips worth of blinds, then, man, this guy limps monsters. Okay, I'll put that. Limps strong. Just try to keep that in mind. That is not normally how people play, and not normally how they play aces. So his limping range is not weak, but generally as a population, the limping ranges are weak, and so when you get like 5 people coming along, and you have like a decent hand that's suited, and like, you can just kind of jam it, and pick up the blinds a lot of the time. Or pick up a bunch of dead money, rather. Pick up more than just the blinds. And it's especially a good spot from the small blind, because then there's only... So you can't just like open jam under the gun with like weak hands, right? But the later and later you get, the wider and wider you can jam, and so when it comes and you're the small blind, you just kind of discount the limps. This person jams. What was this, 75 big blinds? Pretty, like, kind of. But we're in bad shape down here in the bottom right. Table is almost fully sat in the left, this $10 table, so this will take us about an hour and a half to do, so that's kind of about how long I expect the session to be. But if we are just playing triple ups and $1 hyper turbos, I don't think it can go too badly. It's a little tempting to jam this 9-3 suited over the top of his limp, except we know that this guy limps really strong hands, so we're not going to do that. We're probably just going to fold to a bet here. We have some backdoor straight draws, but they're probably dirty. We're just going to fold here. Yeah, pot size bet. Now, obviously, not every single hand he limps is going to be strong, but his limps will include the strong hands. Alright, we'll 3x it. We should have just shoved. This 3x looks stronger than a shove. Didn't realize we were so shallow. What can you do? 20% equity. Alright. So it begins. Yeah, I feel like we've been running really, really bad, and the thing is whenever you lose, you kind of just feel like you're running bad and it's bad luck, and so like it's hard to identify when it's actually bad luck and when it's like fake bad luck. But we think it's real bad luck. I mean, I actually do think I'm running poorly, but I also expect that I will be wrong in that assessment of fairly high frequency. Definitely, like, we couldn't have played the queens any different there. Or I guess we could have limped along and then he jams and then we call. If we got to the flop and we had an overpair, we're just going with it for that many blinds. So, like, There's really not... Yeah, so this is a decent hand we can raise with. I think we're just going to call with it now. We're looking to call and raise with it about half the time. Also, generally, the under-the-gun raisers I prefer, like, just calling a little bit more. And the later position raisers I prefer raising a little bit more, just because I think that the under-the-gun raisers just kind of go with their hand at a higher frequency. We're just going to call this min-bet. If he has a jack, he has a jack. If he has an overpair, he has an overpair. This is a really small size. We're treating it basically like it's a check. If he min-bets again, we're going to raise to 120. And then we're going to look to check back the river. Alright, we're going to bet half pot. Mostly for protection. I think if a queen comes, he bets. I think if he has a jack, he bets again. And so he could have ace-5. We lose to that. But we're looking to just kind of get a cheap showdown here, where, you know, we're going to bet half pot and then check river. And he folds. Okay. Nice to pick up a little bit of a pot. Yeah, he's in a weird spot there because he should bet a queen if he has it, and he effectively checked the flop. And so when you check two streets, you probably don't have the tripsies because you want to build a pot, especially when we're this deep. So it's just, his range looks really weak there, which is why I feel comfortable betting for protection. I suppose we could fold out 5s and 6s, or not 5s. We had 5s. We could maybe fold out 6s and 7s, something like that there. But we'll make a note that he min-bet weekend. Except, I don't think it was this guy. I think it was the other guy. I forget which guy it was. I think it was this guy. We're just gonna flat with the queen 9. This might be a little bit loose. I think this is a little bit loose against cutoff open. Lacking a club, we are probably just going to check fold here into a reasonable size bet. If we had one club or two clubs or like queen 10 or something like that, we could continue. But he has a really good just bluff opportunity on this like ace-king type board. I don't know. If it folds to us, we're going to open in the bottom left. We will not call a bet, though. Now this guy min-raised. Was it this guy? I think it was this guy. 3.5x before, different raise size. Okay, we are going to bump it up. Normally we'd make it about 3x, so we're going to make it 70 over the top of the limp. We expect to be ahead of his limping range. So this is for value here. We also don't want to give free flop. Oh no, wait, this guy's, what am I talking about? This guy's the big blind or whatever. Gonna raise to 2.5x on the right. This is a flop we could bet. Yeah, we're gonna bet here, a little over a third pot. We like betting these paired boards. We're gonna call along with the deuces. Look to just kind of flop something. We're gonna check back in the bottom left. We would continue if we hit like a top pair type hand. And we'll maybe look to call some rivers. call on his part, I guess. Oh, we should have, like, jammed. What is this guy? He min-bet weak into 3 on the flop, and now he's betting pot, so I'm just gonna kind of take his word for it. I think that is a spot where we, like, we'll have to call a bet, like, fairly often, but knowing that he was min-betting when he had bad hand, or just like a complete airball, and then he pots, I think that also because it's a pot-sized bet, we can be a little bit more liberal with that. We're gonna squeeze these guys. We could easily get it in with 2 bets, so we're actually going to check even though we have top pair because it's a really dry board. Okay, now we're just going to bet a size that we can get it in by the river pretty comfortably. Okay. Yeah, one of the reasons we're switching to 2 of these like 9-person tables is I think we actually just have a bigger edge post-flop on these 9-person tables, and these 6 maxes are just very high variance as well, and we're just getting kind of triggered by just like, it's not that we're never winning hands, but like you kind of have to win 2 all-ins in a row, you know, to be able to win one of these things, and we're just like never doing that, or like we haven't been doing that, we've just been getting crushed. Oof, this is some heavy action. Also, this looks so nutted when he just click raises the 480. And this guy is like so strong when he 4x's under the gun. This just all looks so strong. Yeah, he flats. Flat, jam, call. Got jacks, ace, king. Gross. This entire thing. Now in this top right, we do not have to accumulate a massive amount of chips, we just have to be one of the top 3 at the end. We will be jamming this ace-5 over a lot of action. I guess if he jams and he folds, we'll fold, but we will definitely be jamming over a limp. We are definitely ahead of his range when he limps. And we're pretty content to pick up the 50 pre. He calls queen 9. We get a good flop. Okay. Yeah, we are ahead of his range. Don't hate his call, though. I think you kind of have to... We will open call if it folds to us, otherwise we'll 3x someone who limps. And just looking to juice the pot a little bit. We kind of will maybe still play with aces or kings, but we also want to deny seeing a flop to hands with an ace or a king. If we had a diamond, we would... This is normally a flop we'll bet pretty big on. We're actually going to bet a little bit smaller. And if we had a diamond, we would check with our queens. But we want to bet here and then probably jam turn. As long as it's not a... Alright, we're just going to check call now. If he does have a king, we'll have a jack out, and then we're just going to jam the river. But now we're just kind of have a bluff catcher. Okay. And we caught the bluff. Always exciting when that happens. We're going to 3x under the gun with these 8s. It's one of the weaker... we're going to jam with this king 8. 8s is one of the weaker hands we're going to raise pre-flop, so if we get raised, we can kind of get away from it. Get a little 3x raise. We don't want to play the ace-4 into that. Especially like under the gun, we actually want to be pretty snug against that. We get 2 callers, so this is probably going to be a bad flop for us. We do have... we are going to bet this flop. We're going to bet like a third pot. There's 2 low cards. If they have a jack, they'll continue and we'll be in bad shape, but we'll fold out a lot of overs, I think, with this bet. And then we're just going to look to check and maybe call a turn. If 2 people call... Okay, so we would check a jack here a lot, so... I think we can kind of check fold. Now we're going to check call this river, I think. little half pot. It's not too scary. Oh, that's so gross. Don't like it. Now he 3x'd under the gun, so he can be quite strong, but if we get a lot of callers, this might be a spot where we jam with the 4s. Okay, well now we can just straight up fold. Thank God. We're just going to check with the 5-6. We're going to play this really fast, open-ended straight. And we're going to put a note that he folded a 3XO from under the gun. And the reason being is because a lot of people just like go with their hands when they have it under the gun range, so they continue too often into at a frequency that's too high into 3-bets, and so he might be able to get away from that. We are gonna raise. We're gonna do 3x. We're gonna jam this in the bottom right. Normally we'd make it bigger than 3x because we're going to be out of position post, but we actually want to get a caller. And we hold up in the over here. He jams and we have aces, so wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's allowed to happen. It's kind of annoying when it happens. Here we are all excited, like we're just like almost shallow enough to like be thinking about how we want to jam over weak action, but I don't think it's quite it. We'll just play post with Queen Jack. We have 2 overs. We can probably come along for, well, not for that size. So maybe we should have jammed free. This guy raises. We can get out of the way. Yeah, I think I prefer jamming the Queen Jack free. This might be a little wide for jamming. Forgot we have chat. We're gonna jam with the king. We will be ahead of his calling range. Yeah. And he outflops us, but what can you do? Alright. Getting my chat up in here. Gonna jam the suited 8-4. If it folds to us in the bottom left, we will be playing this hand. We're going to check 3x here. We're going to check and kind of go with our hand. Bet for protection on the smaller side, so he has to continue a little wider. Let's see, we have a gutter ball, but it might be dirty. But this is a small bet, so we're going to let him bluff. We're going to check. He just has queens. Okay, I guess you got me. It's a much bigger bet. We have top pair now, though, but 5 is just a straight, and it's like probably dirty, and another guy's continuing. I think we can just fold. It like feels bad to fold top pair, but like at the same time, it's probably just we're just gonna have brutal like runouts and stuff. I don't know. If the other guy folded, I think we continue. Yeah, like, what are they going to show up with? Yeah, it just has a flush. And top pair to boot. Yeah, dodged a little bit of a bullet there. Didn't see what happened down here, but we appear to have won some chips. Trying to set it up so we can see if anyone comes to chat, but so far we haven't had any of that. this over here and this here. Ace-Jack pretty strong. Oh, we want to fold that anyways. Down there. We will jam the queen. Ace-Jack, we're going to come in for a 3x raise over the top of this limp. This is for value. We actually should have made it 200. I like doing 3x plus 1 blind size when they limp. This is a nice flop to bluff at. Also pretty nice to check back, actually. I'm just going to check back. We're going to jam this. I didn't have quite enough time to think, but he just folds. We're going to small raise here. Or that was supposed to be small, but it wasn't. Oh well. Works out okay. We're going to check and probably look to get it in. Yeah, I think that he played tricky, like when he had like these really nutted hands, so I'm very okay. Like when he didn't spaz jam when he had the like set or the full house, so alright, pretty happy to take down our first table. Just getting a little stressed, not having much success. Obviously, over the last 2 sessions, we've lost like 160 bucks or something, which is like nearly half our roll. And so, do we call this? I don't think we need to defend against an under the gun, or not under the gun. Well, it is under the gun. Open 3x with 9-10 off. We will just fold. Little tempted to squeeze with the jack 8. As we get shallower and shallower here, we can do more squeeze jamming over the top of limps. But we are not in very good shape here. Not in terrible shape, though. 60% of our starting stack. This is our most expensive table, so we would rather be good here, but... Not sure how we're supposed to play the 3s here. I'm just gonna flat and try and hit a set. I think if we had a club, we might come along with the 3s. That's a little over 2/3 pot. It's smelly, but there's another person involved. I'm just going to call with the queen 3 suited. The min raise. Interesting. I'm just going to check with the 5s. This is a flop type we like to bet a lot. Well, now I'm going to let these guys battle who are min raising each other because they're going to get it in. This is a pretty nice sized bet, but we also have the extra outs with the 4s. We get a call behind us, so I don't think we're good if this guy bets again. We might check raise here with the flush coming in, because we do block the flush and we block straights. It's kind of a small bet. Maybe it's a little bit of a spaz, but he also could have played this faster. He has a flush. Oh well. I thought it was good because we blocked both the flush and the straight. And maybe we just don't need to do that type of thing multi-way. And so maybe that's the mistake, is we just, like, that's a good bluff spot with only one opponent, but not with 2. I thought it was good, though. You know, we block a straight, we block a flush. Block like ace-5. Those types of hands. Hands that, like, had combo draws. I don't know. Or hands that, like, had pair plus flush draw. Maybe actually the people aren't bluffing river often enough, and so maybe that's the reason we have to fold there. Like as an exploitative play. Like theoretically, I like the check jam with that hand in particular. Like I think it's one of the better ones. At least one of the better ones that doesn't have the ace of spades, because it just blocks everything. We also would play, like, some flush draws like that. We're gonna 3x over this. Look to fold out this guy and play heads up. Don't get any of that. We have some backdoor draws. I think this flop's gonna miss them a lot. I'm gonna bet a little over 1/3 pot. And then look to jam any good turn card. Good turn cards being like an 8, a 10, a queen. Well, now we have to have like a pretty jamming heavy strategy, so we're gonna jam if there are only limps in front of us. Because we would jam this for 10. We get a call. Oh, Jesus. This is so bad in the bottom left. Wow, I can't believe we're still live. Somehow. That's unreal that we were live with like that level of action. That's so crazy that yeah. I think this is a fold. Back up to starting stack size, so just a little bit of luck to. It's been a hot minute since we've tripled up in an all-in. I think the last several all-ins I've had that have been like multi-way that like don't have just one small stack or something like this, or at least the ones that have been emotionally significant. I've just had kings that I've just gotten shit on by like ace queen. This ace is just barely too weak to raise. We would raise that if we were in this position. Kind of hate the caller, kind of like the price in the bottom right. Alright, we're gonna check fold. Yeah. Weird that he shoves. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't call there from the big blind. Just gonna under-realize. Probably, yeah. Just because we call there from the big blind if it's like a button raise, but not if it's an under the gun raise, I think, is like kind of the way we want to look at it. We're going to jam if it folds to us in the bottom right. Flop a pair, but it's not very good. We're going to 3x in the bottom right. It did indeed fold to us, so we will be jamming. They just go check around. I think we are... Oh no, we are not in position. But we are betting for protection, a little half pot action. And we're just going to check and maybe call a bet. We're going to jam for 8 blinds, the ace-3 off. Nice. Winnow pot. I think I want to play this as a bet. I'm going to bet third pot. This is, Alright, we get knocked out. We're going to check call now. We expect him to actually have an ace quite a lot. But we have a ton of equity. Now we don't like having these clubs. So I think we're going to fold. It's a small bet. I guess multiple draws missed. But we bet an ace-high flop, and then we got action. And that's generally a spot where people overfold. This actually is a... this makes me a little sick. We also would prefer that he have the clubs in his hand, so when we have the clubs, it's less likely he is bluffing with a busted club draw. I think we can fold, but it does it feel bad. Oh, it feels bad. Oh, it feels so bad. It feels bad. It feels real bad. I think it's good though. I think that's what we're supposed to do. Well, maybe he was just betting twice because we look super weak. Like, what do we have that we're bet, check, call, check, calling? We actually bet a lot on that flop, so I think we'll have jacks that don't have the clubs in them with them. I don't know. Kind of a small bet on the river as well. Like, wouldn't you want to bet bigger if you had an ace? Maybe. Maybe we should have called. I don't know. I'm going to second guess myself on that one. I think we have this read of the population. They overfold the ace-high, rag, flops, and on that basis, is what kind of why we fold there more so than like it being like theoretically correct to fold there. And it feels bad, but yeah, we're short stacked again. If I was in a later position, I would shove here with ace-3. Over the limps. I forgot what I started the day on. I think it might have been 107. Yeah, we are not looking so hot in the bottom left. That fold is gonna, like, haunt me. We're gonna open here. We're gonna raise over the limp. We expect to be ahead of the limping range. So, generally when there's one limper, we kind of like to adopt a strategy where we just open the hands we would have opened. A lot of limps, dead money. I really got to chip up on the jam. I think this might be slightly loose for this amount. This guy bets third into us when we have king-queen. I think we'll just come along for a call. Now we're gonna bet big, because I think he might be doing that with suited stuff. Oh, come on, fold. 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 Oh, Jesus. You almost got that one through. Fucking A. I think it was good. I think it was a good spot. I think it was a good spot. God. Would have been a little bit better if we were a little shallower. I was concerned that it was a little too. Jack 3 was jamming into these guys was a little too big, but we were correct. The guy was weak. The guy had a type of hand we wanted to fold out with Ace 7. He just tank called. Because when we're doing that for value, he's like crushed. Ace 7, fuck, man. I guess I'm gonna all in mainly to clear this table because we don't have the slightest chance, but also this guy's sitting out, so like maybe we just get a one-on-one flop. Yeah. Oh, we're frozen, it looks like. Yeah. A little bit of a bummer. I think that was a good spot. Gonna sit some $1 hypers. Gonna go back down where we belong. Gonna call with the King Jack. Actually, I don't know how I feel about this call. I think it might be we might just supposed to jam. Yeah, we're probably supposed to just jam. Man, I think we actually played well on that table that we lost on. Like, I don't know, that fold was like kind of agonizing, but I kind of think it was correct. God, it just reminded us so much of the last spot we got into on one of these. That fold's gonna bother me. Actually, I think we played good. I think we were very deliberate about thinking through it. Oh, God. Well, I'm actually gonna blast this spot because we have so many callers and we have top pair, top kicker. And if they got a set, they got a set. I ain't deep enough to fold my top pair, top kicker. Maybe I could have bet smaller here, but fucking A, man. Just 2 pair. Alright. We're on Regin. Don't remember. Oh, this is the 3 table. Yep. God, it's so fucking painful. We're gonna get it all in with this. I think. Actually. Oh my god. This action is just strong as fuck. But we already have money invested. I'm gonna all in and hope these 2 guys fold. Oh, God. I got shellacked for the third session, or the fourth session in a row. Maybe I didn't need to jam there. Maybe I could have found a fold. So we're down like 17 on the day or something. Almost down on the quarter. Man, we've had this experience like 3 or 4 times where we come back to play. We just make gobs of money when we initially like come back, and then we just feel like we run super bad, and it makes us paranoid that like Bovada is like controlling the variance, so they like trying to suck you in with like the runs good, and then they rake the money back. I don't know. But yeah, we're like, if we look at like our account, like my net activity, and I kind of want to hide my net activity. Like just getting brutalized. Not as bad over 31 days, but a little grim. Well, if you're on the YouTube and you like watching me get repeatedly shellacked, feel free to subscribe or make a comment. Yeah, I think that's done a session for today, and that might be like, I don't know. I might take a break for a while. This has been quite rough. God, I think that spot with Jack 3 was so good, too. We pick up so many blinds when it works. And then even when we're all in, like, we still have 30% equity. The Jack 3 suited, just jamming it over, like, was 4 or 5 limps. I think that was good. Definitely exploitative. Anyways, have a good one, I guess.